Some people have no close friends. And it is not because they do not care. It is because closeness can feel more dangerous than loneliness. And once your brain learns that, it starts protecting you in quiet ways. This is the hidden psychology behind having no inner circle. Not the stereotype, the real patterns people rarely say out loud. If this feels like you are not broken. But you do need to see the pattern. The first reason is simple. Trust feels expensive. Some people learned that opening up leads to judgment, gossip, or abandonment. So now their nervous system treats intimacy like a possible threat. They can laugh with a group all night, then go home feeling strangely guarded. Their body says, "Stay warm, but not too close." But here is the truth. Distance can look like independence from the outside. On the inside, it often feels like bracing for impact. This usually starts long before adulthood. A critical parent, a fake friend, or one brutal betrayal can rewrite the script. After that, they stop asking, "Who can I trust?" They start asking, "How much of me is safe to show?" Pay attention to this. When safety is missing, people become editors of their own personality. They trim the messy parts, the needy parts, the honest parts. That makes them easier to like, but harder to know. And being liked is not the same as being close. This is where it gets painful. They may secretly want one person who really gets them. But when that chance appears, they pull back first. For them, ghosting is sometimes fear wearing a calm face. Or they reply late, keep things vague, and pretend they are just busy. The friendship dies quietly, and they call it bad timing. Deep down, it was self-protection. The second reason is hidden pride. Some people survive by becoming the one who needs nothing from anyone, feels weak even when they are exhausted, so they carry every problem alone and call it being strong. They become experts at saying, "I am good," even when their chest is heavy and their mind is screaming. But here is the truth. Self-sufficiency can become emotional armor. It keeps out disappointment, but it also keeps out comfort. These people often help everyone else first. They give advice, show up, and solve problems fast. That role feels safe because it gives them control. Receivers feel exposed. Givers feel useful. Pay attention to the pattern. If someone offers help, they joke it away or change the subject. If someone asks how they really are, they give the polished version. Not because they are fake, but because need feels dangerous. Maybe they were ignored when they were vulnerable before. This is where it gets interesting. The same person who seems distant may be deeply caring. They just do not know how to be cared for without feeling small. So they keep their wins private and their pain invisible. Then people assume they do not want closeness. What they really fear is owing their heart to someone unreliable. The third reason is rejection sensitivity. Some people scan every text, pause, and facial expression for signs they are unwanted. Their brain is always asking, "Did I say too much?" So one small change can feel like a giant warning. A delayed reply becomes proof. A cancelled plan becomes a verdict. But here is the truth. Most of the time, the other person is just busy. Still, an anxious mind does not wait for facts. It fills silence with the worst story possible. That story usually sounds personal. They do not like me anymore. I was too much. Once that story takes over, they retreat to save face. Pay attention to this. They would rather disappear early than feel rejected later. That is why some friendships end before they even begin. The person wanted connection, but fear hijacked the moment. You might see this after a good hangout. They smile, go home, replay everything, then vanish for days. This is where it gets painful. The loneliness is real, but so is the mental alarm. They are not avoiding people because people mean nothing. They are avoiding the crash that might come after hope. And hope is scary when you do not trust outcomes. The fourth reason is shame. Some people believe they are too awkward, too boring, or too damaged to be chosen. So even before others judge them, they judge themselves first. And that inner voice gets loud in social moments. Everyone else looks natural. They feel like they missed a class on how friendship works. But here is the truth. Shame is a liar with a familiar voice. It turns ordinary imperfections into evidence of unworthiness. Then comparison does the rest. They see group photos, inside jokes, and weekend plans online. And they assume other people bond easily. What they do not see is the effort behind those bonds. Pay attention to this. When you feel behind, you stop showing up as yourself. You rehearse lines, you watch your face, you monitor your tone. That much self-consciousness kills spontaneity. And friendship needs some spontaneity to breathe. This is where it gets interesting. Sometimes the loneliest person in the room looks the most put together. Great outfit, polite smile, perfect small talk. But inside, they are waiting to be exposed as not enough. So they leave early, skip the invite, and tell themselves it would not matter anyway. That story protects the ego, but it starves the heart. The fifth reason is emotional hiding. Some people can talk for hours and still reveal almost nothing real. They discuss work, memes, news, and other people, but their actual inner world stays locked. That makes connection feel busy, but not deep. Conversations happen, bonding does not. But here is the truth. Closeness grows from tiny acts of honest risk. A real fear, a real memory, a real need. Without that, people can enjoy you, but still not know where to enter. And if nobody enters, you stay alone in a crowd. This hiding often feels smart. It prevents embarrassment, oversharing, and regret. Pay attention to this. But it also prevents recognition. No one can meet the version of you that never arrives. That is why some people say, "No one understands me." Yet they have never let anyone hear the unedited version. This is where it gets painful. Imagine joking through dinner while your real pain sits silent under the table. Everyone thinks the night went great. You go home feeling even more unseen. Not because people ignored you, because they only met your armor. The sixth reason is that friendship looks simple, but it is built on repetition. You get close by texting back, showing up again, and letting time stack. People with no close friends often break that rhythm without meaning to. They cancel when overwhelmed, disappear when sad, and return when the storm passes. but relationships weaken in long silence. Even strong interest cannot survive endless interruption. But here is the truth. Being a burden is one of their deepest fears. They think, I will reach out when I am easier to be around. That better version never comes on schedule. So weeks turn into months. Then shame says it is too late to reconnect. Pay attention to this. This is why loneliness can become a loop. The more disconnected they feel, the harder they make it to re-enter. They miss the birthday, ignore the message, then avoid the apology too. Not because they do not care, because caring now comes with guilt. This is where it gets interesting. A person can want deep friendship and still behave in ways that block it. Desire is not the problem. The pattern is. And patterns feel personal until you see them clearly. Once you name the pattern, you stop calling yourself unlovable. You start calling the pattern what it is: learned protection. So what do all these people have in common? They are not empty. They are defended. Behind the silence, there is usually fear, grief, shame, or old disappointment. Behind the distance, there is often a person who wanted closeness more than they admit. And the first real change happens when they stop judging the wound and start noticing the pattern. If this felt personal, sit with it for a moment and send it to someone who might need it too. And if you want more videos that put hidden feelings into words, stay close.